Hi, and welcome to Mindful, Beautiful, and Thriving, a podcast series by Tharaka Foundation focused on youth mental health. Before we begin today's episode, I just wanted to let you all know that all content that is found in our podcast is created for informational purposes only. This content is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, treatment, or therapy. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified health provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition, and never disregard professional medical advice or delay in seeking it because of something you have heard in this podcast. Thank you so much, and without further ado, let's get started.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us again today. We are here today with Beatrice. She is going to share her parenting journey with all of us, and I can't thank her enough. I do know her through my workplace, and it's a pleasure to know her, get to work with her, and inspire the mindfulness and resilience community at workplace. Thank you so much, Beatrice, for joining us today, and welcome, Sister Rini, again. So, Beatrice, tell us a little bit about yourself for those who don't know you much. What would you like to tell them?
Sure. Thank you very much, Punam, for the nice introduction. My name is Beatriz Araiza. I live in Mexico City, born and raised. I have an 11-year-old son, who is my mother in life. Since he was born, it's like my motivation number one, and I have been receiving so many blessings since he was born. I also work at Cisco. I am a leader at the support services in customer experience for an SD1 team. And it's a little heavy loaded, but I love my job. And in my job, I also meet interesting and amazing people such like you, Punam, and we do some employee relations groups also, like mindfulness and resilience. So I don't know, I'm a blessed person who is actually, thank God, very happy. But of course, we have challenges, right? And we overcome them.
Thank you, Beatrice. So, you are talking about challenges. Do you have any challenges while parenting, while working, while being a daughter, while being a community leader? What are your challenges?
Well, I think my main challenge is that oh, I don't know what my main challenge is, but well, like a very one that I can articulate is my son. He's twice exceptional, ADHD with high, I don't know how to say it in English, but it's like high performer kid. So he's very, very smart, and we have talked about how the therapists call it this condition like a Ferrari without brakes. So he has a lot of amazing capacity, but if it's not regulated or if we don't give him the right tools, he could just go and it can be a crash, right? But he also, if he is guided the right way, he could accomplish so many things. And now that I see that, and even since he was born, it's like if just was torn like something from my eyes, because before that I used to, I mean, I love my parents, both are gone now, but I was such an reactive, moody teenager. So I used to judge them all the time. But the day that Patricio, the name of my son, was born, that day, magically, I understood everything. I don't know. I was illuminated, and I was so grateful with my parents, and I understood that everything they did with a lot of love. They were also learning, and that's what's happening now with me, right? And I think now that I see him, I reflect myself on him, because I am also, I don't know if I'm ADHD or not, but I have always been like hyperactive. I like to be here and there and do this and do this other thing. And I don't know, but I am so grateful that my mom put so much discipline on me, because we were talking earlier, Punam, and I felt this big, I don't know, joy in my heart when you said Beatrice is a person of her word. Yes, I think that's true. I don't know why, but if I say something, I will do whatever it takes to just do it. And I feel very energized about that. I feel very, very proud about that. And I know that's my mom and dad's signature on me. So going back to my original challenge, I am wondering how to do that with my son, but without I mean, the 80s were so different than now in parenting styles, right? So I don't want to be rude and I don't want to destroy our relation. As I told you earlier, my relation with my parents in the teenagers, it was not good. And I don't want that with my son, but I do want him to have discipline. I do want him to have tools that whenever I am not there with him, that he has that small boy somewhere that can tell him, you can do it, follow this path. So yeah, I feel constrained about that also because his father, he's not with us, but he is actually a good dad and they love each other very much. But I am not, I mean, we're not together for a reason. We don't share the same values. We don't share the same parenting style. So that's something that I struggle with because I know that the only thing that I can do is be the best version of myself and showcase the values that I want him to know. Because I don't think just like getting his dad out of the way would be a way. I know there's a lot of people that would do it. I respect that. I just my intuition, it's not letting me. I'd love to, but I don't think that's the way. So I don't know. There's too many things, and you know what? Even though I've learned a lot of things with mindfulness and the tools that I have gotten from being present at the moment and doing meditation, at the same time, I get very anxious about what will happen next. And I know that sometimes teenagers will go and find because they will search for themselves, they will search for things outside the home and outside their lives. Me that I'm 44 now, I know things are not outside. We need to keep looking inside. But at 11, you don't know that. And even you can hear it from whoever you hear it. But if you're not hearing that from your 11-year-old friend, that's not important. So I am so scared that he just, I don't know, drinks or got in a problem or an addiction or I don't know, jail. And I know I'm overreacting, but those things haunts me at nights. And I know I need to be prepared for that. I know I need to start doing my therapy for detaching myself of him being perfect. Because again, I'm going back and forth, but I promise I have a point. I think that was something that my mom was thinking when I was born. I know she had an idea of who I could be, and I was not that person, and I have made my peace with that. And I think that's what happens with me and Patricio. And again, that duality helps me understand mom without judging because I'm the same. And I know I love Patricio, but I know I want him to be something he might not even want to be because he's so smart. And I remember my mom saying, "You're so smart, go and pursue an engineering career." And I just wanted to dance. I ended up doing both. Which I am grateful for because that's how I ended up in Cisco. And when I was a single mom, I was able to give him some food. So I don't know. I am rumbling around, but I hope it's giving a clear message that having my kid is a challenge but a blessing at the same time, and I am able to understand mom in all the ways, and I am still stuck on how to do it the best way I can so he can have tools but also love from me. So I don't know if that captures what you were asking.
As you said, you covered lots of ground. So, a lot of things were coming in my mind. Definitely a lot of love for you, your parents, and your son. Sister Rini, what would you like to say to Beatrice?
Firstly, I would say that she's very well aware. I would say that where she wants to kind of have more refinement and more clarity. And at the same time, she doesn't want to stifle the freedom, the spirit of freedom of her son, and wants him to be independent. At the same time, also want him to have that certain discipline, like she said, the brakes in the Ferrari are missing. It was very, very, very actually cute way of putting it forward is that he is as gorgeous and as beautiful a spirit as a in the car world it would be a Ferrari, right? Just without brakes. So yes, I would say, and you already have that intuition, Beatrice, that children do need discipline. At the same time, they also need the freedom to make their own mistakes, right? And from what I hear is that, and also in my own particular experience, I had an opposite case where my daughter was very slow in her learning skills. And one of them was very slow in her motor skills and learning abilities. And the other one was quite quick at the uptake. And I had a bit of both. And I remember it was, and as you beautifully said, I'm also learning how to do the parenting. So we are also in this workshop of life along with them. So one thing is in this parenting journey, I remember when I made mistakes, I found it difficult at times, but I would go and admit to my children that I'm so sorry, I was wrong, I overreacted, you know, and that actually helped them feel safe in my company to see that, you know what, my mom is not just pretending to be a model of perfection. She can also make mistakes. And it's okay if I make mistakes also. But at the same time, you're providing them love and detachment, as you said, that you want to be detached also. And really, when you're detached, what they're really seeing is, and what I found in the parenting journey is, how detached was I from my own emotional reactivity? If I felt my emotions, like you said, what if he gets influenced by his friends on drugs, or what if he just chooses some wrong path? These are the concerns that you said that as a parent you felt. And we all parents do, and it's a good thing to feel the concern. But one thing, if we are in touch with our deepest self, which is the ever present background of peace, then our concerns soften up, right? And from there, when we come into actions, although the concern is there, and I even remember one time one of my daughters at one point that she had said, Mom, I want to tell you something, and I know you will not get upset, that's why I'll tell you. I said, okay, what is it? And she said that, you know what, I tried mushrooms once. And it's, you know, I don't even know what they call it, some kind of this particular name for it. I can't even remember now. But, and, and my, and I could see that she was trusting me so much. She didn't think that I was going to judge her or reprimand her for her choice, but kind of just I allowed her to be herself in my presence, in that safe place, safe haven that you create for them. And then in that kind of really got to know more about her feelings, what made her want to try mushrooms. And she said, I was feeling quite anxious and I just didn't know what to do. My friends kind of told me to try this. So I tried it. But you know what? I don't feel good about not telling you. Yeah. So it's like you just create a safe haven of a non-judgmental atmosphere where they will always feel that they can come to you. And then after that, we had a very beautiful heart-to-heart chit-chat. There was nothing wrong in what she did or she should not have done or whatever it was, but it's like, okay, how about you come to me first if you need that advice? And it's perfectly fine. So it's what I found in the parenting journey. There's not about right or wrong. It's not about good or bad. It's not about true or false. It's about being that non-judgmental presence where they can come and be themselves in whatever condition they are. And that is only possible when we ourselves can be like that with our own inner world. So when we are comfortable with these feelings, like fear would come up. What if she didn't ask me next time? Like that, you know? These fears would come up. But then what is mine? And I would always see it like this. I'll give it to you if you want to do this little experiment with me.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just do this little experiment. Imagine this is a thought, and this thought comes up and it says, it comes up like this. Let's say in the beginning, it's a pencil. So as a pencil, you can see it come and see it go, right? No problem. You didn't become one with the pencil, right? It's just a pencil. It's an object. It comes and it goes, right? Now let's try it another way. It's a thought that comes. What if next time she doesn't ask me? What if she gets influenced by her friends? If she gets into drugs? Today's world is like that. It's not a safe world. All these thoughts are coming. And they're not coming and going like this, are they? No, they come and they come like this.
Yeah.
It looks silly, but it's true. They come and they feel it's me, it's my voice. I am this fear. But I can't show him that I'm feeling fearful. I've got to put a very brave face in front of him. Actually, I'm living in self-deception. What he's catching is also self-deception, right? So, but when it's coming and I'm that which I am, which is aware of my thought, I'm aware of my thought of fear, but I'm not this thought itself. I'm aware of it. I'm aware of the fear, but I'm not the fear. And I can observe it. I can witness it. I don't reject it. I welcome it. And it can stay with me for as long as it needs to stay. Okay, fear, I'll do something with you which I've never done before. I'll welcome you. And you can be with me for as long as you need to be with me. That attitude with fear, when you have that with your own fear, unspoken, in a very unspoken manner, that attitude that you have towards your emotion that's already reaching your son, your daughter, whoever it is. So what I found is I started doing more and more inner work with myself and more inner work of having a very healthy attitude towards my emotions as exactly what they are is what they need to be. They don't need to be perfect. This is the truth of this moment at this point in time, allowing them to be as they are and what they are from the place of being that open space of awareness. And what I found is that she became more and more open in her own way. And I remember one time she came back to me and she said that a friend of hers told her a story of two wolves in her head. And do you see how the whole drama works? Because you have a healthy attitude towards your emotions. And she said there are two wolves. One wolf in my head, it's apparently an old American Indian story that we have two wolves in our head. One wolf is always talking about being rebellious and always doing the wrong things, and another wolf is always talking about the right things, how to be grateful, how to be compassionate and everything. Which wolf would you listen to? And the answer is the one you feed the most, right? And that's when she told me that story, that both these wolves are constantly fighting in my head. And it was, yeah, and it was like, yeah, and then which wolf do you choose? She said, so I asked her, which wolf do you choose? She said, you know what, Mom? I don't choose any. I just witness. I just witness. I said, that's fantastic. And then it was like, okay, so what do you do when you're witnessing? So she said that At times, I know the bad wolf wants to pull me into being itself, but I'm just witnessing. And when I'm witnessing, I know this is a good wolf and I'm getting pulled towards bad wolf. I try not to be partial. And that to me was amazing because that's what I was doing inside. Does that make sense? I was not speaking to her about it, but this is something I was doing inside with my own emotions. And as a parent and a child dynamics, it's very deeply connected.
Yes.
Each time they are thinking about you and whatever state of mind you find yourself in, unbeknown to yourself and to them, they are connected to that state of mind. This is a very deep, subtle dynamics that goes on.
Wow.
So, yeah, so every time it became so clear for me that if I have a healthy attitude towards whatever is appearing, I'm aware, thoughts appear, thoughts disappear, but I remain. Emotions appear, emotions disappear, but I remain. I remain as I am. Every time a thought or emotion disappears, it's not like a little bit of me disappears with it. I remain the same. And as more and more I started seeing from that space, I find somewhere because as parent child, they're thinking about you, my mommy, my mother. And they're thinking about you, they will somehow get connected to that way of thinking also. So I find, and your son, as you said, 11-year-old, is that right?
That is right.
Yeah, so very deep connection there, very, very, and at that age, they are very deeply connected with you, more so with you than your friends. Maybe they're beginning to get connected more with their friends, but mom will always be the center of gravity. And and whether, no, I'm not talking about superficially, maybe friends, but center of gravity is always the mother. So I find that taking care of yourself, you're taking care of them. So first take care of yourself. That's what I find. And more you do that, somehow, somewhere, the law of nature is such that those kind of people will also start coming in their lives sooner or later. They will go through their own trials and tribulations. And at the point when they're ready to blossom, at that time, some right person will come in their life to help them. It doesn't mean I'm not saying don't speak to them. I'm very close with my daughters and I do speak to them a lot, always wanting to make sure that I'm available for them whenever they want to speak to you at their terms, not at my terms, at their terms.
Wow, that's so powerful and so true. And I always talk about that, but I think the moment that I get very triggered is with my son and I forget everything. And
Yeah.
even I am observing, but I'm observing not only the emotion but my reaction. And I am telling myself that's not cool because oh my God, I overreact about everything. If he's not sleeping at 8 p.m., if it's not eating right, if he tells me a story and he was bullying somebody, I'm like, no. I mean, I try. I'm like, no, that's funny, but have you thought about how you're treating bad that person, blah, blah, blah. And then he will say, Mom, that's why I am never going to tell you again because you're just judging. And I'm like, should I just not like tell him, oh yeah, that's nice, go bully everyone. But well, anyways, that's very practical what I'm saying. But to your point, I think instead of just being super reactive all the time and going back to your question, Punam, sometimes in my work day, I'm so triggered and responsive and also so tired and stressed at the end of the day that and I have not made my meditation until he's asleep. So I am very loaded when I am with him normally at nights and afternoons. So I think I need to do something before because I am not able to connect with that inner peace that you're mentioning. And I think I kind of know that because that's what happened with me when my mom stopped just trying to control everything and letting things go. I was, and she worked on her, she had always worked with herself, but then she just took away her focus on me, 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 me. And I just started to go back to her learnings and my learnings through her teachers, and feeling grateful and proud about her and going back to her and etc. So what you're saying makes it a lot of sense. It's just it takes a little of bravement, I think, like just saying everything is going to be working out.
That's beautiful. Do you take, by any chance, if you don't mind, I ask a question?
Yes, yes, go
Do
ahead.
you take like many pauses during your work day? Like maybe 10 seconds, 15 seconds here and there?
I mean, I take pauses to talk to people.
Okay.
I try and I have my schedule like breathe and but I don't always do it. Yeah, not intentionally. Yeah.
What do you think, Sister Poonam? Do you think taking those incorporating those many pauses, do you have an idea on that?
Yeah, definitely. So I know how Beatrice's calendar looks like, schedule looks like, one meeting after the other. So my recommendation is we all take bio breaks. We take water breaks. So during that time, definitely doing that inner check, or doing intentional deep breathings will help. And I definitely made it my practice for many, many years, just a minute meditation, taking 1 minute break after every hours. And it definitely helped me to stay calm, centered, felt under control. And now it's part of me. I don't even make conscious effort. I feel I am peace. So but in the beginning, it took some efforts, but now it is effortless.
Nice. Gonna incorporate that like a lot more intentional. And I do tell my team to do that every time, and yet I don't do it.
Now you need to walk the talk. Even,
Yes.
give yourself clues. You're starting your car, you're entering a room, turning on the light. All those are your mindful moments. You can that time intentionally do deep breathing or pauses, or do that, like, how am I feeling today? Right. So, but what you shared, Beatrice, that's the story of many, many people. Because I know working mom being, not fully supported at home or work, and then doing everything can be overwhelming. And then we don't take care of our emotional well-being. And when we are super loaded or charged, that's what we give to our children. But taking that pause is very important. Acknowledging, as Sister Rini was saying, your emotion is very important. And welcoming. I think that is the biggest change I did. Welcoming, not suppressing, not repressing, right? Even I'm, when you both were talking about your uh, experiences, a thought was coming to my mind. I felt a similar challenge recently with my son. I am a vegetarian, and he is not at home. He wants to eat meat, which is absolutely fine. So, like, conditional, like, am I going to love him the way he is, or am I going to judge him? What is my, response to him? Is he telling me, or is he asking me? How should I approach this situation? But he's very sweet, very loving. He's going to stay with me at home during summer. And he was saying, Mom, I respect your, eating habits, and I hope you respect my eating habits. And he was trying to say, okay, we'll not cook at home, but can I eat egg? So I was like, wow, I did not react. I did not, judge him. I am loving as I'm always. So he's respecting my choices, and he's kind of expecting me to respect his choices, and he is trying to find that middle ground. So I felt, yes, because I took care of my inner landscape, that's reaching to him. But if I would have reacted, no, this is not possible, how can you do that, your sister is vegan, we are not, like, eat meat eater, how can you do that? I did not do all that. It's okay. He wants to try, he wants to experiment. And as Sister Rini was saying, someday, somewhere, somebody will come in his journey and tell him, pros, cons, or whatever. So, at this point of parenting journey I am in, Chat GPT is there for all these kids. They don't even ask, consult parents, right? They
Wow.
will make their own mind. But I think that having that open communication, having that safe space, having that non judgmental environment, no matter what age kids are, as a parents, we need to provide that. So that's my parenting journey tells me.
Wow, thanks for sharing. Thank you.
So, Beatrice, anything else would you like to share with parents who might be, managing, like you are doing wonderful job. Like, what is your advice to your younger self, if I may ask?
I think, and it's my advice that I give to me every time that I'm loaded, I'm doing crazy stuff, and it's like if I just take a step back and I see myself, and I'm like, what are you doing? And thank God that I can do that because I can, and I relate to what you just mentioned, um, about telling to my son, you know what, I'm sorry. I am also learning with you to be a parent. I can tell this is not the way I wanted you to, or the relation to go. So let's take a step back and let's, I don't know, do some agreements, whatever. But the auto advice that I keep telling myself and I would like to share with everyone is, and it's very obvious, but we forget, this moment is never going to be back. And they are with us, I don't know, this small amounts of time. And now I just miss my parents so much, and I wish I could um, use my time more wisely when I was with them, but we just give it as for granted. And maybe my son will do that, and that's okay. That's normal. That's human nature. But now that I understand and I know, it's on me to treasure those moments for what they last. So I don't think we want the time to just give lectures or be yelling at each other or do the discipline. I think we want to just love each other and be happy. And I think and I'm going from out from this session with that amazing and powerful lesson. If I ground myself and I remember this natural space of peace that we all have, everything is going to accommodate and they will just, I don't have to say something. They will just do it because we're so connected. I mean, they're literally part of us as moms, right? They were with us 9 months. They were us 9 months. So there's a deep connection there. And if we don't take care of, if I don't take care of me inner without telling and yelling to the four winds, I don't know if that translates, but in Spanish it means something. They will just vibe it and emulate that. So I will work very much on that. Not only because I know mindfulness is important, but I think I just saw it and I was illuminated by that. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Beautiful. Oh my God. Sister Rini has her own channel, Beyond Sound. That's what she tells. You really don't need sound to connect with others. We are all connected. We are all one, and we are love. And we, as you were saying, that's what I was feeling. Literally, we don't need to say anything to anybody because we are that pure love connected with each other. And you are also taking that message from today's episode. Before we say bye, Sister Rini, would you like to take us back home with your wisdom?
Thank you, Poonam. One thing, as Sister Poonam said, that yes, and even when the words they come from that place of silence. right? And they'll be filled with the power of silence. So that is why one thing I do find that the best way to really see this is, and you said it beautifully also, Beatrice, they were me for 9 months, right? It's very true. It's like literally one body, one mind, physically also one. Yeah. And when we see it so clearly, so clear it is to us that there is no distance between minds. The distance is only when we see ourselves as bodies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the more we really know ourselves prior to our bodies and prior to our mind, which is prior to the thought and prior to sensations, then from that space, it is so clear that as you know yourself at the core of your being, you will know that nobody is separate from you. And whether it be your son, whether it be people at office, this feeling is going to reach each and every mind because there is no distance and space and time between minds. Until we see ourselves as a body, then yes, there is time and space, but we really know ourselves as one prior to sensations. I know it's a little subtle what I'm saying, but see if we can just little experiment with it, and then maybe if we want to close with that experiment, Sister Poonam, is that okay?
Absolutely. I feel consciousness is boundless. And
Mm-hmm.
as we are saying, no limits. That oneness is there, whether this physical eyes are telling us or not. But as you said, minds are connected.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that is why even if your son is maybe in another country or in school or you're in the office, it doesn't matter. It's only at the level of the body. But at the level of the mind, no, we are not at a distance from each other at all.
Lovely.
So,
Thank you. Thank you.
so we'll just finish with just a little experiment. It's a very simple but very subtle experiment to see what really body is, because body is like a visible mind. Yeah. And we'll just kind of experiment with that a little bit, not much. So if we close our eyes and we were to really see what is the experience of the body if we didn't have any thoughts and if we didn't have any memory, like a newborn baby. Imagine you're a newborn baby. You don't have perceptions, you don't have language, you don't have memory, you don't have thoughts. What is your experience of the body? For you, you don't even have the word body. Now, if we could speak as a newborn baby whose eyes have not yet opened, and if you could speak, what is your experience? Would you call it body? Do you think you have a shape, a size, a boy or a girl? What do you experience if I were to ask you if you could speak? Would you say it in a word or two?
I will say gaga, goo goo. I don't know.
I don't know, yes. And if you could give word to your experience, what is the only thing that you experience?
Peace.
Do you, okay, yes, peace. But what is your experience of the body? What does body feel like? Is it solid, dense, as
No,
in
it
your
was like water.
water? Okay, some flow, some
Yeah.
flow. You don't know what it is, but it's just an experience of flow. And if we're to give it a name to that flow, it's just like a flow of sensations,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's really the experience internally that we have of the body is of sensations, right? So body really as a newborn baby has no solidity, no shape, no size, no boundary to it.
Yes.
So more we really experience the body as it is, which is just experience of a flow of sensations. There's no gender, no age, nothing superimposed on those experiences. So what I've found, whenever there's an emotional, let's say, attack or whatever it may be, some emotion, some fear, some anxiety, some worry, as a parent, it's very normal to have these drama of experiences, right? And when I feel that, instead of going straight into the story, see if you can just feel those. What does this emotion feel like? And you feel, okay, it's tense, it's tight. And then you kind of allow that as a newborn baby, there's no word called tightness. What is the raw experience? And the raw experience is just a sensation. And as soon as we see the experience in its raw form, not what it's labeled with, like tightness or anxiety or fear or worry, but just raw sensation, you will find it's like you really become the mother of that emotion. You will find that. And see it in your experience now. We don't want to talk theory, we want to see it in experience. When you see a sensation without a story, how does it feel? Does it feel challenging?
No.
No. Does it feel like it's going to harm you in any way?
No.
No. Can the sensation hurt you in any way?
No.
Stain you in any way? Change you in any way? No. And that very moment, you know your truth of one that cannot be hurt, that cannot be harmed, that one is aware of it. And I find that doing this little deeper, subtler, I would not call it work, but deeper, subtler checking. And you can, as Sister Poonam was saying, that you can go to the restroom also, or you can go for your water break or coffee break or tea break. It doesn't matter. You can see this anywhere in your relationship with your boss. You can see this. Maybe you had a tough meeting and you go to the restroom for a break, and there you can just observe these sensations without any label on them, without story attached to them. If every time you're doing this, how would you reach home to your son?
Oof. Yes. I'll try that. I think it's gonna be amazing. It's amazing already.
Yeah, it is just being in touch in its raw form with your experience. And I find the newborn baby analogy very useful because it's much easier as a newborn baby
That's true.
to be in touch with your sensations and your emotions.
Wow. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. to both of you for such an enlightening conversation. Truly thankful to you, Beatrice, for opening your heart, sharing everything to our audience for their benefit. And that experiment was so beautiful. All the language labels we are teaching these newborns, they don't know. Even the gender part, I was like, yeah, if parents didn't tell or mirror was not there, society did not condition, these babies wouldn't know. They are just carefree, happy, loving, caring, like for themselves and just enjoying. I want to be that baby. I am that baby.
Yes, yes. I love that we are and that we can relate to that and connect to that somehow.
Yeah, we are all inherently innocent. Inherently, we are all innocent. Conditioning takes over later, but inherently, we are innocent.
Thank you again. So enjoy your rest of the day.
Thank
Thank
you. It
you.
was very nice
Thank you.
meeting you, Sister Rini. Thank you,
Thank you,
Punam.
You are
Beatrice.
listening to Mindful, Beautiful, and Thriving, a podcast series by Tharaka Foundation. As part of our youth series, we will be releasing new episodes every month, so make sure to continue to check those out. We hope you enjoyed this podcast, and we thank you so much for listening.